Just last month, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. 30 years ago, I founded this school with 11 children and in early childhood. And this year's enrollment is down because some of the parents, as much as our fees are so reasonable, cannot afford to pay. So they dropped out. But our enrollment is 435 at this time. And over the years, the secondary division was started in 2000. The early childhood was started in 1991, and the primary, or we call it elementary, was started in a couple of years later. But ever since we started to do common entrance, as it was called, and also Csec, we have been top tier performers, and I think that we consistently, since we had our first fifth form enter in, have been the most successful fifth form in this country.
Mm-hmm. What about
and the most
successful
grade 6 too? Most successful grade 6.
Mm-hmm. Now, how many students were sent to Csec this year?
This year, our fifth form only had 13 students. That's all. We're a small school. Most of the larger classes, and what we call larger, would be like from 25 to 30 students, will be found in the lower school. In secondary, the classes range from this 13 to 23 in their size. We have quite a few secondary schools like that in Antigua and Barbuda, and so that's no advantage at all for us, other than the ratio between student and teacher is always better when it's low like this. But we had 13 students going in. Most of these students have been with us since early childhood. We have a very low attrition rate in our school. People who start with us in early childhood usually graduate. And I would like to just congratulate you, Senator, and your dear wife, being some of the most supportive parents in our school over the years.
Thank you.
And you have yielded the result with your boy passing 17 subjects, and with all those grade ones. I thank you for your support over the years.
Okay. Now, give us a rundown of you just mentioned 17 subjects, but I know in particular Pierre Nichols, and I'm glad to see that there is a balance, so to speak, in terms of the young men, the boys performing as well, because I know for a fact that we have had a fall off of our boys in terms of performance over the years. So I want you to link
that fall off may be national and regional, but not at Baptist Academy.
You don't start?
No, we have no problems with our boys. They're always in the top tier. And this year, two of the boys are right at the top there with this exceptional child, Pierre Nichols. Even Joseph and your son, Kofi Brown, have just performed very, very well. As you mentioned earlier, it's 100% pass rate with this class. 80.12% got grade ones. They pass all the subjects, and it's mostly grade ones. We have kept our record. No one, ever since we started the school in 2000, the secondary division, that is, no one has ever failed mathematics. No one has ever failed English A. And this year, not only did everyone pass the math, everyone got a grade one. And if you look across the Caribbean region, this is not happening. It's not happening in Antigua and Barbuda. So obviously, our methods, our pedagogical skills are exemplary. And this year with the English A, all but one got a grade one, and one got a grade two. You see, and we thank God for that. Let me just give you a rundown of the subjects.
Please do.
Subjects that we got all grade ones for. Everybody got a grade one. Everybody got a grade one for mathematics, physics, human and social biology, integrated science, principles of accounts, principles of business, and physical education and sports. Everybody got a grade 1 for all of those subjects. And for information technology, English A, biology, and Caribbean history, all the students submitted except one got grade 1. 7 of the 13 students had 10 or more grade 1s. That means, you know that the Ministry of Education has changed the categories for this CSEC award.
So I understand.
It used to be just gold,
yes,
silver, and bronze. Now the top award is platinum. 7 of these 13 are getting platinum. I think 1 or 2 of them are getting silver, and the rest are getting gold. So these students, this is an exceptional class, and they've been together from since they were in early childhood, most of them, and they've just performed so well. We're so grateful to God. Our worst performer would be a top performer in residence schools. That person passed 8 subjects with 5 grade 1s. And that's the worst performer. And and there's balance to it, There's balance to it as well. Sometimes children are denied awards because they have a lot of subjects, maybe even grade 1s, but these are not mixed. They're not in all the categories. That is not the case because I don't allow the children to pick their subjects in my school. That's my decision. Okay? Some people think that I don't believe you're supposed to have choice in primary and secondary school. You choose when you go to university. My job is to make sure that they have a broad education so that they can major in anything they want on the tertiary level. So I make sure that all the students take subjects in all the categories. So all of these students would have English A, all of them will have maths, all of them will have a foreign language, all of them will have at least one of the sciences, and all of them will have a business subject. So so there's balance in the subject disciplines that are undertaken by the students.
There's some people who would ask the question, do these children have a social life? How would you respond to that?
Well, you really should talk to them. I have, I remember one time I went to an awards ceremony where our steel band played, and the children had such a wonderful time. And I actually overheard somebody behind me say, "But I didn't know they laughed." Baptist Academy is a happy place. Listen, many people are projecting their experience onto the children today. And if Antigua and Barbuda wants Nobel laureates and PhDs and people in the professions and top performers, we have to change our mentality. Many people are projecting their personal experience upon their own children. I don't allow that at the Baptist Academy. I make sure that parents understand that the children must be challenged to reach their potential. Now, not all the students are going to always perform like these students, but they need to perform to the best of their ability. And I must warn you that a lot of the top performers over the years are not the brightest students in the class. They're the most disciplined students, all right? They're hard workers. But so they're not always the brightest students. But the students, if you come to the school, you will see that it's a happy place. The students want to be there. They love their school. And they're involved in all kinds of extracurricular activities. Several of them are some of our best steel pan players. For example, your son, Kofi Brown, Cameron Charles, and Nathaniel White. These people are first class with steel pan. Kofi sings in the choir. Kofi, Pia, and even all the 3 top students were prominent in our drama group. And so these students, do they have a social life? You need to ask them that. They will tell you what their life is like. And it doesn't mean that you have to compromise academics in order to enjoy your life. And I believe they have had a wonderful time.
And some people would ask you, Dr. Jonas, what is the secret to success?
Success across all fields has no secrets. No secrets at all. The question is, are people prepared to apply best practices that are time-tested and apply them with discipline? There is no education without discipline. And, I notice in this country, I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I notice that many educators in this country, their primary paradigm for operation is industrial relations, rather than the children. You got to focus on the children. And I have gotten, as I said, the best staff. I've developed that staff. I nurtured that staff. I personally am involved in teaching best practices every summer with our professional development sessions. And I've sent many of them, I've given lots of scholarships and developed this staff. And they are all committed Christians, because I don't hire anybody who's not serious about Christ. And they are there as a ministry, and they love the children, and they love what they do. And they've worked hard to implement our standards there. The teachers have been faithful stewards with our standards. And so we have developed a culture of excellence. And so that is not easy to do when people come there to fight over a variety of issues. We try our best to be fair with our staff, but for the most part, they are there to serve Christ.
Mm-hmm. Speaking about there to serve Christ, academic excellence with biblical values. Explain the tagline for us, please. It's a wonderful tagline, I think.
Well, that has been the motto since I started the school. All right, that we were going to be first class. We were not going to settle to be backbenchers. And just a few years ago, the nation honored my efforts with that in the 2011 for the consistency, the consistent example of education administration and leadership. But I believe that Christ, being Christ-centered, unapologetically Christ-centered, it's the closest thing to a secret. Okay, because the staff, the entire staff are Christians, serious Christians, not just the teaching faculty. I'm talking about the ancillary staff and all the administrative staff are serious Christians, and they are doing it as unto the Lord. And that kind of stewardship, motivated by faith in Christ, goes a long way in making sure that you get excellence in your work.
Okay. Now, there's some people who have said to me, Senator, I can understand, but everybody is not academically inclined. What about if the school were to get other areas of interest where students could excel? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, we can't do all things. Any successful operation finds its niche and does that. We don't have, for instance, special ed. We don't have a lot of sports. We do have all the sports in intramurals, but we don't have the student body, the large student body to make teams for a lot of varsity sporting things. We have a lot of areas in which we just don't have the capacity because of our numbers to do. So what do you do in that? It doesn't matter what kind of operation you're running, You need to find your niche. You need to find your area and exploit it to the fullest. How is it that this small school, the secondary division, is just a little over 100 people? How is it that this small school can deliver like this? It's because we understand what we can do, and we are doing it with excellence. You see, and we don't try to be anybody else. We're not trying to follow anybody else's model. We know our limitations, and we maximize on the areas of our strengths. This little school, 1 year just recently, and I noticed that the news didn't cover it very well. I don't know if there's jealousy in the Ministry of Education. They didn't cover it. 1 year, I forgot the year. I should have my stats before me here. But 1 year, I submitted a fifth form with 15 students, and there were more gold medals at the CSEC Awards among those 15 students than all the public schools combined. Combined. More gold medal performances. How is it that a little school can deliver this? And not be a fluke either, because we deliver it every year. Every year. It's not a fluke. I believe that the commitment of a staff to serve Christ, to have curriculum discipline, to make sure that the dignity of all the students are maintained at all times, to make sure that Christ is glorified in every aspect of our life, and discipline. And it really starts at the top. I don't pretend to lead. I'm not a figurehead. I'm hands-on. I'm involved in everything. And the school must reflect my values and priorities.
Okay.